Hello and welcome to a look at Beast Busters for the Amiga, an SNK arcade original that was converted and released by Activision. Well, Activision at least released the game. The plot of this game is incredibly complicated, or maybe not. The city has been invaded by undead, and you, specifically you, has been volunteered to go in and solve the mystery and clean up the mess. And if you should feel so inclined, you can bring a friend along for the fun. But we will get back to that comment later when we cover gameplay. You have your trusty submachine gun thing that shoots bullets, surprise, and then you have grenades of various different kinds depending on what you pick up. In that regard, let us, once I game over here, cover the interface quickly. At the top of the screen you have a box for each player, and the boxes contains ammunition information. So the furthest to the left you will have your magazines or clips or whatever it is people decide to call them, and to the right of that you have the bullets in each clip magazine thing. To the right of that you have the number of grenades that you have available, and that could be normal hand grenades or rocket grenades or other types of grenades. And underneath that you have your health bar. You can see that blue bar that's divided into blue pips. And of course on screen you have your crosshair. Two different colors for two different players, which is always useful. And off you go, entering the city, blasting undeads, and by completing the different sections you will eventually solve the mystery and defeat the undead, I guess. You know what, let's just get the technical stuff out of the way, because gameplay and all that kind of stuff will have to be a general comment section, I think. Graphics wise, this game, it's, I don't know, it's very, very coarse. I wouldn't necessarily use the term ugly, because I'm trying to refrain from using downright unpleasant terms in my commentary of these videos, but it is borderlining something that is very, very similar to that kind of phrasing. The color use is very, very generic, and I don't think anything particularly stands out. The scrolling and movement of the graphics is all over the place. Even levels where you anticipate there would be very little chunky choppiness, you find quite a bit of it. And other levels where you might expect it not to be present, or to be present even, it runs smooth as silk, but it is so incredibly inconsistent, and that also will be put in the after gameplay comment section thing of this video. Sound design, you have the title tune, which is okay, it's relatively short, nothing out of the ordinary, nothing bad, it's just decidedly average. The sound effects are incredibly generic. You have your submachine gun sound thing, and the occasional yell when something is killed or takes damage, but there seems to be an awful lot of sound effects that should be in the game that's just not there. It's very, very rarely you get any indication of something shooting at you, and that means that, of course, in a very, very visually busy game, you are relying very, very heavily and sound cues to pay attention to stuff, and there's just no indication of if something is doing a bucket load of damage to you or just doing plink damage to you, which is what audio usually indicates, of course, when you have the sound of a pea shooter and the sound of a cannon going off. You know which one is the most dangerous, and it detracts quite a bit from the enjoyment of this game. The controls, you can play this game with mouse or keyboard. I was about to say mouse or joystick, and I would highly recommend, if you should decide to play this game, that you play it with the mouse, because joystick is very, very slow compared to a mouse and not nearly as precise, of course. If you play with a friend, yeah, the friend will be relegated to a joystick unless you got a second mouse spare. And some people do, some people don't. And of course, the second player will be suffering with the limitations of a digital joystick controller. But it's playable, especially if you have another player with a mouse who can take the brunt of the hard work. The controls are okay. It can feel a bit heavy, and that is because of the graphical choppiness, because of course that will affect the crosshair as well, and it isn't necessarily imprecise, but it can feel very, very heavy and very, very sluggish. When it comes to the gameplay is very, very similar to Operation Wolf and games in the same kind of style. You move from section to section and you shoot stuff and you throw grenades at stuff and try to minimize taking damage in the process. Beyond that, there's not an awful lot more to say about the gameplay. You have various pickups you can pick up, and of course you pick them up by shooting them, like any other game of this kind of style. And the game can at times be extremely generous with pickups, and sometimes annoyingly so, because it puts an awful lot of crap on the screen, and the graphics are already chunking away. Having the extra layer of stuff on the screen can add to the chunky choppiness, which is not necessarily beneficial. And of course, because there's so many things to shoot for pickup purposes, it blocks off something that you want to shoot, which is incredibly frustrating. This game was released for the Atari ST as well as the Amiga, and unfortunately, in 99% of those cases, it meant that the Amiga got an ST port. I can't say that it is the case, but I don't find it unlikely, sadly. The game can be a bit of fun, I suppose, but all in all, I consider it to be far, far too choppy, far, far too sluggish. The lack of sound effects to let you know what is happening around you can be extremely frustrating. And the fact that the difficulty is all over the place. Certain levels are extremely easy, and certain levels like this one will kill you in 3 seconds flat. The game does give you 5 continues, and you will likely find that you go through them much faster than you would necessarily anticipate, especially if you should be playing this game as 2 players. All in all, it's very, very hard to recommend anyone playing this game unless they're extremely bored. On that note, thanks for watching, take care, see you next time, bye bye for now.